What's up, guys? It is your girl Sarah from Sarah Says. I think I say this for every live because I really enjoy talking with people and learning all the things that I'm learning. But today I'm super excited. Here with Colorado Posh Pals. It's Eden, right? I only know you on Instagram and we talk at the bins, but I'm like, I think I know her real name. Anyway, so Eden, I met Eden we're both here in Colorado, at the bins. She came up to me really shy one day. I was like, do you have YouTube? And then most Saturday mornings we see each other. Well, not recently, but most Saturdays we see each other if we're there because we have children at home. So that's kind of when we get to go. So she is a former employee from Anthropology. And actually, I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for people to pop on, do my little YouTube spiel. If you are new to my channel, I'm a reseller on PoshMark Ebay and other platforms. And then I also do data analytics. So I have three dashboards, and my channel is dedicated to resellers. And then I focus on data analytics for the reseller. So looking at the numbers, looking at the data to help you get to hit your monetary goals. And either you looking at your own data using the dashboard or just following some of that, the content that I do by looking at the data, looking at the numbers. My husband is on and says, smash that like. He's learning all the YouTube lingo. If you like content like that, make sure to subscribe. As my husband would say, smash that like button. And then if you're if you're watching this in a recording, definitely leave comments down below and I will make sure that Eden gets those comments. If there's something that I can't answer, which for this panel, it will most likely be something I cannot answer. I'm excited to be learning everything as well. So let me pop on. We have Duncan is here. He is a mastermind at eBay. So if you have questions for him, definitely look him up. He is awesome there. What's up, Michelle? Lovely Lotus is here. And Rafi, what is up, guys? So I'm gonna pop in. I want to do a little chat with you first. And have you been? So the thrift stores opened last week. Have you gone? And what is the bin situation? I've heard some rumors. I want to know if you've heard anything.
I haven't gone to the bins, but I've also heard rumors that the bins have been kind of crazy.
Are they open in Denver?
I don't know if they're open here or not, but I've heard like around the ones that are open that the people that have been there have been like extremely aggressive. I have gone to the ARC thrift stores here. I went 2 separate times, and honestly, I saw some of the same stuff that I saw before the places closed, which I was super excited. I got in there the first morning that things were open, and I was running to the shoe rack. Was so excited that I was.
Was it busy that first day? Because I went the second day.
Like,
yeah.
No one. I didn't see any. There was hardly anyone there, and there definitely wasn't any like other resellers. I think it was mostly just like regular. Because I typically go to one that is on a very.
You don't have to give your. Okay, I'm like, you don't have to give your sources away.
I don't say that. But I go to that one that's on a very busy road here in Colorado, and mostly was just like regular people that are just hanging out looking for stuff and not resellers. But there was nothing, it wasn't even an abundance of merchandise, which I expected there to be a lot of merchandise because people had been dropping stuff off and it had been closed. But I don't know if they're waiting to kind of let some of it out.
I talked to them. So they opened on Friday. I actually popped in for like 10 minutes on Friday night. I think I picked up dinner. I don't know. I did something and I drove by it. So like, of course I had to stop in, and I actually saw another reseller. You probably know her if I told you. I'm not going to throw her out, but you would probably know who she is. I saw her, but we both had masks on. So we were kind of like looking at each other. So we couldn't really tell. But I think the pink hair kind of gave me away. But I chatted with her for a minute. There wasn't very many people. There was absolutely not much there. And then I went to a different one Saturday morning, and I talked to an employee because I'm a frequent goer, so they know me. And they said that their donations, if you're not in Colorado, our donation centers were open. So I was expecting the same thing too. Like they were still getting donations. They should, and they said that they are putting. I don't know if you noticed in the back, at least the back were the one that I went to, but they have big like semis in the back, and they are putting stuff in there for 3 weeks to a month when they get donations. So they're only now starting to put stuff out on the floor that they got like at the very beginning, but I don't think they were taking donations those first couple of weeks because I noticed it was a lot of the same stuff. And then there was something else I was going to say on that note. Oh, and they're not putting new inventory out during the day. So like normally like they'll put inventory out all day and they're doing it once in the morning and they're not filling it up. So it's definitely going to change sourcing here. I don't know.
A while, yeah.
I mean, I like the bins for the price, but I've heard that you only get like a 2-hour limit.
Oh,
when you go.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Well, keep me posted.
Make it. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm definitely going to try to go this weekend if they're open. And I've seen on like Google that it says the bins are open, so I'm assuming that it is, but I haven't called anything.
Yeah, let me know. I've heard a couple things. I heard they open a little bit later.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that it was open at 10 and not the usual time.
Yeah, which is when it starts to get busy. But then I heard it's limited who goes. And I'm like, well, either that's good or bad because then you have less competition, right? Yeah. But then you can only go for a certain amount. So keep me posted. Okay. All right. There's people on. So let's get into this because this is going to be a great topic. So Eden is a reseller. She is also a mom, and we bond over our children while we're shopping as well. But she is a reseller, and she is a former Anthropologie employee. So she knows her Anthropology. So and if you are a reseller, you know Anthropology is like finding gold. So I have brought her on because it's kind of a complex topic. They have lots of brands and like what sells well. And so I asked her to come on to kind of talk Anthropology with me. So first I want to kind of start high level. Is it Anthro as the brand? Because they have like different, like there's one RN number, but then there's different, you explain it.
So Anthro is one store that is in under an umbrella of Urban Inc., which is also part of, so they own Free People, they own Urban Outfitters, Anthropology, obviously, and they also own a bridal spin-off type of brand that's called BHLDN, which we'll talk about. And then they
sold their stuff.
They also own Terrain, which is a pretty small, like a kind of like a garden store, but they also have like very cool aprons and things like that. So Anthropology is a part of that overall company. So they do have a similar, or they have the same RN that they all kind of use for items that are part of their Urban Inc. brand. And that
so it would be kind of like Banana Republic and Gap and
exactly like that. Yeah. And I'm not going to tell the viewers to write down everything that I say, but one thing I'm going to tell you right now, I would say write this down and memorize it, and I'll show you some reasons why. So the overall RN number that they use for the Urban Inc., and that's that over-encompassing altogether company, is it's 66170. And that will be the RN number that you'll find somewhere on a tag. So even if an item doesn't say that it's Anthropology, it will have that RN number. And I'm going to give you a couple examples really quick.
And I put it in the chat too. So if you don't have a pen with you, you guys can come back and scroll through the chat. So.
And that's even going to be on the Anthro home stuff. And so this is a very old dress that I've had this dress. It's my own. It's for my own.
Oh, you got to do it.
I've had this for several years, and there's nothing on it that says the brand whatsoever, except for on the tag at the very bottom, it has that 66170.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where I get confused because I know the 66170, but then if it doesn't have a brand, how do you know? Because Anthro is like the best one, right? Like the most expensive, and that's
arguably. I would say Free People also has some really high end items. Some expensive things. Definitely, Anthro is the top tier there, but I mean, you're gonna find some good Free People stuff that is a good brand. And I'll also show you. This is a comforter that I've had from Anthropology for several years. I don't have this for sale. It's just my own personal item. But again, on this tag, and it's kind of hard to see, but
oh no, you can see that one. Yeah,
it has the same number. So if you are out at the bins or at yard sales or wherever you get your stuff from, if you see an item and you say, I really like this item, it looks cute, what is it? You can, at least that can kind of narrow it down for you a little bit. And then what I'd say is take a step back, look at the style of the item. Most Anthropologie stuff is going to be tailored to a specific type of woman. It's going to be tailored to a woman in her 30s or her early 40s who is, think of like a Zoe Deschanel. Like as soon as I see something that I think, okay, Zoe Deschanel would wear that, then I know, okay, there's a good chance. Let me investigate. And you can
so when you're outsourcing, you look at style more and you're like, is this an Anthro style? And then you would look at the label and see if it's 6617.
Yes. And then I think usually from that, I feel like most Free People stuff, the Free People tag stays on there. That little metal Free People tag is going to stay on there. It hardly ever falls off. So you pretty much know right away it's not Free People because that tag is always there. And then
Free People is only free. Like Anthro has so many labels, but Free People and Urban Outfitters are only Free People and Urban Outfitters?
For the most part. I mean, with Urban Outfitters, you're going to have a lot more of the brands that are not necessarily the Urban Outfitters brand, but for Urban Outfitters. So
not always the case.
Right.
See, this is where it gets complex.
Yeah. I think that as soon as you look at an Urban Outfitter item, you're going to know right away, like, who would wear this item. Typically, that's going to be an item that's for, somebody in her teens or her early 20s. It's going to be maybe slightly, I don't want to say revealing, but less modest. The Anthro item is going to be much more modest. So I think just from style alone, you're going to know right away that it's either an Urban, a Free People, or an Anthro product, So, but I think if you really put yourself in that mind frame when you're looking for that kind of stuff of who's the girl that would buy this, and Anthropologie is really consistent about selling to that same girl. That's their customer, that's who loves them. And
which is why it resells well, because those people keep coming back because it's consistent and it sells. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like I have good luck with J. Crew, but I mean, who knows what's going to happen now because they just filed bankruptcy. But I have good luck with them for the same reason, because I think they're very consistent and people know like their brand. They know what they know what pant they like to wear. But I feel like J. Crew says J. Crew on it. They don't have 17 billion different labels. You could definitely, and maybe I know J. Crew a little bit better, but like I can pick out a J. Crew piece or banana piece pretty quickly. Anthro has so many labels.
They really do.
If you have more to share, or do you want to talk labels?
One of the things is some of their labels that you think are maybe other labels, like this label that we've all seen.
Let me see. I think I can make you big. Nope. Hold on. No. Duncan said I can make you bigger, but I don't know how to do that.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you can see it.
Yeah, we've all seen this label. But, once you go to the tag, you'll see that it has that same 66170 RN number, So, yeah,
So Maeve is Anthropologie. Is Maeve, right. I mean, that's something that you have. Is that something that you would pick up to resell?
I would say yes. This is one that I usually pick up to resell. Sometimes I try to pick up the newer style.
Oh, that's cute. So how do you know the new styles? Like, how would you know if it's a newer style?
That's a very good question. Because you don't always get a time for, like, I know what you're saying. Like, even if I find the item, I don't necessarily always know a time frame of like when this was available per se. So I don't know if I have an amazing answer for that, but
because like I'm just going to keep going back to J. Crew apparently, but a lot of times they have their season on it, which is what I like, because I'm like I don't have to look it up. I can say, oh, J. Crew, and it's 18. Okay, this was 2 years ago. I probably have, but they don't do that on theirs.
You will. Okay, so one thing that you will see in a lot of the last few years is you will see on the tag, if it has a tag, it will say imported and then it will have this some extra information on it about Anthropology, whereas many of the older tags won't have that. So that's usually a really good giveaway that that it's like from the last few years, the last 5 years, I'd say.
So if you're finding something that you think is in the last 5 years, that's probably decent shot that it's going to resell well.
Yeah, I would say yes. If you find something from the last 5 years, it's going to resell well. And I would say even if you find something older than that, I think with Anthro, you still have a very good chance that it's going to resell well. Especially.
Well, here's the thing: I can't move Anthropology to save my life. So, like, what's the problem? Actually, can I bring up? I just have this idea. Can I bring up some of my Anthropology pieces and you tell me what I'm doing wrong? Like,
I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is that many of the items that they have are very unique, and it's something that you kind of just have to wait for the right person to walk into your closet and you know,
find
the
it.
right size, the right. Yeah, I mean, I think I've had some newer items that have sold right away that were Anthro, that were kind of a more, I don't want to say basic style, but they definitely were less funky, so to speak, because some of the stuff does get really funky, you know? I mean, yeah, it's an adorable skirt, but it's a bright color. You know.
Well, this one has like stains on it. So I know I got that at the bins and didn't realize it had stains until I got home, and it's like a size 0. So that one I get. But this one is
go ahead.
Oh,
looking at it.
Yeah.
I would say one of the things that I really look for, and I know, and this is hard, we all want new with tag stuff, but I say with Anthro, if you can get new with tags, I pay up for new with tags from Anthro, because even looking at the numbers before this, the stuff that's new with tags is really going to sell extremely well. And that's obvious. Like, yeah, I know stuff that's new with tag sells, and sometimes that's hard to find. But I mean, I've
had this Anthro. It's like the Sue Anna Sue new with tags for over a year.
Interesting.
And I so like,
is it very small?
It's a 4.
It's a 4. That's kind of small.
I mean, it's smaller, but for a year.
Yeah.
It has the most likes in my closet every single month. Nobody wants to buy it.
Have you relisted it?
Multiple times.
Okay, interesting.
So nothing wrong with that. That's not me, right?
I don't.
But this is why I don't buy it, because like that other. Where's my other one? That Maeve dress.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. This one's nothing fancy, but it is Maeve, and I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
I've had it for at least 9 months.
So that item that you just showed us, that was a new with tags. What was the new with tags price?
$398.
$398. And what do you have it listed for?
$125. I've gone all the way down to like 60.
Interesting. Well, I mean, like I said, some of the things I think that you have to hold on to for a while. But I think eventually that item will sell. I mean, in my opinion, it's an extremely cute item. And I think, you know, somebody is just waiting, like somebody will come along that is going to a Roaring 20s party or a Great Gatsby party.
Yes, right. I put that in the title for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, I've had the same thing. Like, I'll show you one of the dresses I have that's new with tags. This is one I have listed in my closet. It's also new with tags.
Is it a corset or is it a dress? It's cute.
It's a dress. It's a dress. It was actually on like Pretty Little Liars. It is new with tags, and that's one thing I wanted to show everyone is what the Anthro tag looks like.
It's upside down, but we can tell. Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
That almost kind of looks like a Free People style to me. Or no? Am I totally off? No. Just the style.
This is something that I would say is a little bit like is almost too sexy for Anthro. Yeah. This is a newer item. It's still kind of available there. This is a brand that this is definitely a be on the lookout brand right here. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Let's see, brand new. This was $238. So it's kind of an expensive brand. It usually resells pretty well on Poshmark.
Okay.
But again, I mean, is anyone going to any kind of parties right now?
Yeah, but I mean, I had this a year ago, so I had it all last summer. and into the fall. Downton Abbey came out, and I sold a lot of other like vintage, like actual vintage pieces that were, people told me. We're having a lot of people in the chat, and I think that's why they came, is a lot of them saying they're not selling Anthropology. They can't sell it. I think one of my problems is I don't do stock photos. And so if you're looking at like that one someone modeled for me, but most of it isn't stock photos. And I think that kind of, and which is why I've kind of stopped doing Anthropology, because most Anthropology is stock photos. And so when you're scrolling through and you see a stock photo and then you see my photo, even though, I mean, I think my photos are good, like on a mannequin, it's not like, it doesn't look as good. And so I think that's part of my problem.
Right. I would completely agree with you that I do see a lot of the things that are selling on Poshmark that are from Anthro. The people are using stock photos.
Yeah. And so that's kind of, I mean, I've quit looking at Anthropology, but I know other people like it, and I know this is a hot topic, so I did want to talk about it. A lot of people are talking about tops. So I mean, you're looking for the 6617. That could be Free People, Urban Outfitters, or Anthropology. Based off of the style, that was a good tip to kind of like who it's made for. But like, what kinds of things? Because a lot of people in the chat are saying tops aren't great. Their tops aren't selling well.
Yeah.
And do they not sell well, or they don't sell high? Because tops in general are going to sell lower.
Right.
But like, I know she sells a lot of Anthro.
I would definitely say that the best things to look for would be dresses. Dresses seem to sell the best and like the highest amount. Dresses, purses, shoes are going to sell a little bit higher than some of those tops and some of those other things. But I think, and even like today, I was really looking through the numbers of what's sold on Poshmark, and a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing is selling for over $30, you know.
Which is good for a reseller. Over $30 is good.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, definitely there's going to be a few things that I saw a few things on there that went for like $17 or $20, but I didn't see too many like super low ball things. So I'd say,
I mean, do you have the dashboard right? Your sell-through rate on Anthro is okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Because things selling high, but because this is what I wonder too, when people say that they sell Anthro well, if you have 500 Anthro items and you're selling, 50 of them, that's still only 10% of what you're selling. And so if I only have 4 and I'm not selling any, like my stat's not that bad because I only have 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're having lots of questions, and I figured this would roll in. So your top Bolo for Anthropology. So you're saying dresses, shoes, and purses. And then I wasn't aware, I think I found one like Anthropology label purse. Because I love purses. So what are their brands for purses to look out for? Or is it only Anthropology?
No, they have some other ones. There was one that I saw. I should have written that one down. There's one that I saw that was selling really well on Poshmark. I wish I could think of the name of it. And they have many different labels of purses that they carry as well. But it'll have a 66 if it's cute. So now I'm going to be on the lookout for the style. If it's cute and it has the tag in it that says 6617. And let me give you a few other things about purses and stuff like that. If you're trying to hunt for it. So a lot of the stuff if this is from Anthro, it's not an Anthro itself brand, but it's an item that I purchased there. You can see it. Oops.
Jasper and Jera. Okay. Does it have a tag in it?
Let me see. Let's see if it has that number in it. It doesn't have that tag in it because I think it's one of those things like Anna Sui or something like that. But so I'll just tell you. So some of the things that you really want to look out for on bags, like for Anthro, is like they're going to have a lot of beading on it, and they're going to have a lot of embroidery, and they're going to be. Oh,
is that it? Hold it closer. Is it embroidery?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they're going to have kind of like a wild design like this.
So are most of them going to be like printed and stuff?
Yeah, they are, and usually they're made of a really good quality material, like a canvas or something like that. This one is one that actually has that, and this is a newer label. So you'll see a lot of their newer labels are this like dark green color.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good because the newer it is, the better chance you have of selling it. So if it says Anthropology, boom, you know you hit the jackpot. But if it's like green label, that's one of their newer. That is super cute.
I got this at the bins, and before
That looks in really good shape too.
Before I even picked it up, I knew it wasn't something I had seen there in particular at Anthro, but before I picked it up, I knew that it would be Anthro because, like I said, I think once you really start to think about what they're selling, the kind of stuff they sell and who they sell to, I think you immediately will start to see when you're out, you'll be like, okay, I think there's a good chance that could be Anthro. And then you pick it up, you open it up, you look for the 66170 or, the Anthro itself. And there you go.
So, and that's a good point because we were talking about this a while ago and I've since started doing it. And it's not like rocket science, but once you said it, I was like, oh, duh. So you had told me I think when you told me before, you told me to go to a store. Right now, that's not an option. Right. But then also they have a free magazine and then their Instagram. So I subscribed to their Instagram. And then I was like, oh, I should subscribe to some of the other like bigger brands that are big in the reselling community because then you get an idea of their style. Yeah. And then, like you said, just walking around when stores open and get an idea of their style.
Right.
Someone asked, let me go back. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say, I think if you're lucky enough to have an Anthro near you, I'd say, yeah, go in there, get familiar with the items, touch the items, see the kind of materials that they use because they're very consistent in this, like the styles, the fabrics. I mean, even for the last 12 years, it's really been the same kind of stuff that they sell over and over. And I think that's one of the reasons why if you find a piece that is an older piece, you still have a pretty good chance of selling it eventually for a decent price on Poshmark because they have very classic stuff. It is funky, but it's like a funky classic that people will like for a really long time, I think.
And a good quality too.
So, and a very good quality. I mean, like I worked there many years ago, but some of the stuff that I bought when I worked there, I still wear.
Yeah.
Like the first
we're talking your top Bolo, which is also the good thing in the reselling too. And part of why I like selling high-end purses because the purses will be 20 years old and it's still in phenomenal shape because and vintage too. Vintage is made really well. So 30 years ago, I'm like, this dress is in better shape than half the stuff in my closet right now that I bought last year. Okay, so what are your top Bolo for Anthropology? We talked like items, but let's talk. There's so many brands. I'm going to give you 5 right now. We'll get into more brands, but pick your top 5 brands. If you saw it, you would be like, I am taking this right now.
Okay, and some of these are going to be kind of hard to find, but I would say like this year, one of my best sales that I had was in Anthropology. It was from Anthropology. It was Rachel Comey. It was a pair of mules. I bought them at the bins. I think I sold them for like over $150 in like only a couple days.
So is that an exclusive?
At all? I mean,
it's part of that style. The mules are like kind of coming back right now too. Mm-hmm. Is that an exclusive Anthro brand or is that like a collaboration?
It's like a collaboration. And again, that didn't say some of their collaborations will say, Anna Sui for Anthro.
Yeah, that's what mine said.
And that's great. And I mean, that obviously that's it helps you out a lot when that happens. But I think that instead of thinking about it as, oh, well, Anthro has all these high-end brands, but I don't always know what they are. I think, and there's no way for you or I to both just say like, okay, you need to memorize this 100 list of amazing high-end brands. I mean, all of us are trying to do that all the time. But I think just like a company like Nordstrom's, if you do take a little bit of time to go on their website and filter through set it from high to low. Look at what the highest priced items they have. So some of the highest priced brands they have right now is the Anna Sui, which we've already mentioned. Rebecca Taylor, Shoshana, which is a dress brand that they're carrying now. That's a really high-end brand.
Okay, but they're not, because I've sold Shoshana, but they're not exclusive for Anthro.
No, they're not exclusive for Anthro, no.
Because I was like, I've sold a lot of Shoshana, but I've never labeled it as Anthro because I wasn't aware it was Anthro.
Yeah.
So, but so if there's like,
go ahead. But if you take the time to use Anthropology as a resource to learn about some of those other brands that are higher end brands, Anthropology is spending a lot of money on stylists and people, and they are doing the work for you to find out what are the hot things that people are going to want, people are going to like. So
so they're bringing in like exclusive brands. Right. That's smart. So even if it's Shoshana, but yeah.
How would you know on your own unless you were like, I don't even know how you would really come across some of those other brands that are newer high-end brands unless you really are searching Nordstrom's or Saks Fifth Avenue and filtering through all those styles. And a lot of times I feel like the people that would buy something at Saks Fifth Avenue aren't necessarily coming onto PoshMark, but the people that are buying those higher end Anthro things are coming onto PoshMark, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I think for Anthro
on a pair of, used pumps.
Yeah. I mean, I've sold Shoshana before. I don't think it's an Anthro brand, but it wasn't for Anthro. Yeah. But I don't think it was for Anthro, but they've all sold very quickly. But for me, it's like I touched it and I was like, this is nice. Like, I know this is nice. I don't know this brand. I can tell this is nice. I looked it up. Boom, it was. But so let's talk about, I think you were answering this question. That's why I put it up. How do I find out what brands are Anthropology brands? So if you missed it, this is Flipping Gals. I'm going to give them a shout out because I love them. I found them this week. They do like live on Instagram every morning that I just happen to keep catching. And it's lots of really good information. So definitely hop on over and follow them on Instagram. I'll probably have them on eventually as well. But so if you missed the beginning, definitely replay it. The biggest tip is it's going to be that 6617 and then certain styles I'm not going to go over that all over again because you said it in the beginning, but definitely watch the playback to catch the beginning of that. But let's talk about, so like Shoshana for Anthropology or all of these places for Anthro, how do you figure out that it's for Anthro? Because it won't have that 6617 on it, right?
Yeah, I think so it won't have that 66170 on it. So the only way for you to really find out that it's Anthro is to Google the item and see that the item comes up as Anthropology, like it comes up with a picture of Anthropology, that it was on their website or in their catalog of items. And that is one of the difficult things about selling Anthropology stuff. But I think that if you learn the basic ones and what's current, that can help you find those items that are most sought after and that are going to really get you the most amount of money for them.
And because I get nervous because oftentimes I will look something up and half of the time, like I'll look up, comps or whatever, and half of them will say Anthro and then half of them will say not Anthro. And I'm like, well, I don't really know. And like ones that aren't the 6617, I'm like, well, I have no idea. And I'm not trusting the internet. And I don't want to sell something that I'm not positive is Anthro.
Yeah.
And so other than that, is there any other way besides trusting people on the internet? No. Right. Yeah.
If you Google an item and you see, an old picture from Anthropology of that item,
right.
For sure that Anthropology at some point carried that item. And they usually keep a pretty long catalog of stuff if you put in the right information. If you put in like, Maeve shirt, blah, 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 red bird on it or something like that, and you find the right item, you're going to see, it might not say, it usually still has like the reviews and all that kind of stuff, even if it's been, 8 or 10 years. You'll still.
So if it's like if you find a stock photo and then you can research that a little bit further back.
Right. Right.
That makes sense. So I think most of the ones that I have looked at probably aren't. My guess is it's like a brand that did something with Anthro, and so people are like going to put it under Anthro to get that recognition, but they didn't have any stock photos. Because if you're going through like hundreds of the same item and none of them are stock photos, it's probably not Anthro. Like someone's going to use the stock photo.
So a lot of the time I see this a lot and I really hate this. I know your pet peeve is stock photos. My pet peeve is mislabeling stuff that like, is not from that brand. And that happens all the time with Lululemon. And that always makes me really mad. And I'll show you one that is like always getting listed as Anthropologie and it is not Anthropologie. That is this Olga brand, which is or Alaya. It's at Francesca's.
That's Francesca's, yeah.
But
I do know that one. Yeah.
I see it all the time listed as Anthropologie. I mean, I think that people are going to make honest mistakes like that sometimes. And I think part of the problem is it's the nature of what we do. We look something up, we look at a comp and we look at like the top 5 and they all label it. So like one person does it wrong and then the other person looks at that person and then now there's 10 of them. And so after I've seen 10 of them, I'm like, okay, well, it's probably, but I always err on the caution as well, because I don't, unless it's a 6617, I rarely will put it under Anthro unless it was like something that someone gave me or like I knew for sure. On that note, I'd like to ask about if it says Anthropologie, obviously in Poshmark and other platforms too, label it, put brand Anthropologie, but like Maeve, would you put Maeve under Maeve or would you put Maeve under Anthropologie? So I would say 90% of the time I put it under Anthropologie. Like Maeve is a good example. I would always put that listed as Anthropologie and not as Maeve. And the reason is because you don't see a Maeve party ever. That just doesn't happen. But, there's consistently Anthro parties. So I would say I almost always put it under Anthro unless it's an item that is very popular on its own, but I know came from Anthropologie. Like Birkenstocks will do collaborations with Anthropologie where, we'll say Birkenstock. Yeah, well, Sorel and Birkenstocks both do, like right now they're doing a lot of collaborations with Anthropologie. And that's an item that I would just put Birkenstock and I would never put Anthropologie on because I think that, you're going to have more luck with a person that's looking for a pair of Birkenstocks versus a person that's like an avid Anthro shopper and is looking through what's new or is looking through an Anthro party. So
like a person's going to look up Sorels over Anthropologie.
Exactly.
Right. Like they're looking for Sorel boots and like maybe a special edition, but yeah.
And I sometimes stuff like that, I wish that Poshmark had like more wiggle room. Because I think it would be good to have, like, it'd be nice if you could list it under both. I mean, I get that there's not many brands that are like that, but it kind of stinks for Anthro. So
what do you put in the title? You put the drop down menu, you put Anthro. Do you put Maeve in the title then? And Anthro?
I usually put Maeve and then I just literally put Anthro and not like Anthropologie. But then
that was my next question because Anthropologie takes off like all of your characters.
Yeah. But
people will search Anthro.
Yeah, but if I have a like that purse that I showed you, I would typically put the whole Anthropologie tag name in the title
because that's the brand.
Yeah,
but then that's like all of your characters.
I know it's a lot of it. It depends on how many characteristics an item has. Like if it's some like that, I put like floral clutch, Anthro floral clutch or whatever. And
if you don't need like size and
exactly. I don't put size in my title. Maybe I should.
You should.
Should I? I feel like people put their size in and search for their size and then it comes up that way. Is that not right?
No, it is true, but you should do, I'm going to give you a little SEO thing. I know something to share in this panel, nothing about Anthro, but if for Google search reasons. So color and size, I mean, if people are searching on Google, they will do Anthropologie, black, medium, dress.
Okay.
And then the people from Google and white backgrounds are better for Google searches too. But your Google search people are typically going to spend more Most of them are like new to Poshmark and they don't understand that you can do offers. So you'll get buy it nows. And then you're also getting extra exposure. So yes, color, brand name first, and then color and size are always, I mean, the size of a clutch, not necessarily, but like clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
Trisha is asking, we'll go here. I don't like to go here a lot of times on social media because it's controversial, but it's my channel, so I get to say my piece. And everyone is allowed their own opinion, but my opinion on stock photos, they absolutely sell better because they are professional photos. Right. However, they are somebody's professional photos that we do not have rights to use. And I get upset if people take my work without asking me. And so I like to give the respect and not use it. And then also, Poshmark isn't nearly as bad, but eBay really is getting getting down on people using stock photos. They will shut your store down. So that's my take on stock photos, but they absolutely sell better because they're professional photos.
Right.
So that's my take. A lot of people use them and there's controversy in the community about it, but that's my take on it. Rebecca the reseller, she is on YouTube. Definitely head on over to Rebecca's channel. And if you guys have Instagram handles, Poshmark Closets, YouTube, all of that, leave your handles in the comments. I'm all about shameless self-promotion as well. So definitely leave that stuff in the comments. If you're watching this in the recording, feel free to leave your closet, your eBay store, your YouTube channel, all of that in the comments too. This is a community. It's my channel, but it's for everybody. It's a community. So she says, I write Anthro and specific brand in the title and select Anthropology from the drop down. I think that's kind of that's what I do too, but I wasn't sure. I want to talk about this bridal brand with you. I accidentally found, I could tell it was a nice quality. Quite a few dresses. I like selling bridesmaids dresses and stuff. But so I just knew it was a nice quality and I looked it up and found it was Anthro, but it's BH, or what are the initials?
BHLDN.
But that is not, they also have, because mine was not, like that wasn't the label. It was like
the original. So this is the old one, was BDHN.
No, it was like it was like a name. So it must have been like
they do have, and it's the same with like Anthropology itself. Like they do have some dress brands within their label, which again, I mean, it makes it really complicated, but I think that, you know, like with the BHLDN, I was looking up the numbers on that on Poshmark today, and it was like out of this. It was
oh, it was amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Like you're definitely going to get $250 for a lot of the stuff that they have. Whether
especially
it's
if
it's or the wedding dresses or even they even just have kind of like really fancy party dresses if you were like a guest at a wedding. And a lot of, I mean, I really don't think I saw anything that sold for less than like $230 from that label of theirs.
Yeah. Mine sold for a little bit less than that, but I think I took a lower awful. Well, but it sold quickly. So I was like, whatever. Yeah. Like, I think it was like 120 and I was like, sure, I'll take $120. The thing about, and I like selling this year aside, it has kind of screwed me. I had no idea that weddings and proms would be canceled this year.
Yeah.
But I like selling prom and wedding dresses because those are worn once.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you'll get wedding dresses like the bottoms kind of, you know, dirty, but like they've been worn once and they're like usually, you know, very expensive dresses. And if you can find the exact name and title, a lot of people, I mean, I've had people specifically ask me, hey, I'm looking for this specific color and dress. Do you have it? I don't want to spend $250 on it to wear once to my friend's wedding.
Yeah. I've been picking up a lot of David's bridal, or I had been before the pandemic. I had been picking up a lot of David's bridal and Mother of the Bride dresses. Mm-hmm. Just anything that was like really heavily beaded or laced that was, you know, a really nice quality, I would grab it like at the bin. I'm a big bins shopper for people, for your viewers, I guess. I shop at the bins a lot. So that would be something that I usually look for. And yeah, I agree. And I also had a few dresses that were kind of more of like a prom style and they'll probably sit for a while.
Yeah, they didn't. last year I sold 100% of them. Not all my wedding dresses, because I like vintage wedding dresses, and that's a very specific person in the right size. But I don't mind sitting on them, especially because vintage wedding dresses, like, usually no one wants, especially at the bands. People are like, this is like an ugly wedding dress, and I'm like,
you don't have to fight for them.
And I don't mind sitting if it's going to pay a little bit more. We totally got derailed. We are kind of but this is no, it's fine. This is why I like the lives, because we can talk about what we want.
Let me talk a little bit more. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I do have something I wanted to bring up that I think that people like are interested in. So like I said, we can't tell you every single brand. You can't memorize every single brand, but there are some things that you can look for that are really consistent about Anthropologie's labels, whether they're their own label or whether it's like something that they've brought in. And I find this like all the time. And I think that even if whether you're doing this specifically to look for Anthropologie stuff or whether you just do this in general, you're going to find higher end items. The tags that they have will often be very elaborate or intricate. They'll have, they'll be textured. I'm not getting this one in the camera. This one is textured. This is an Anthro brand. It's got a weird name. It's like 9H15STCL. It's an Anthro brand. It's their own label type of brand. But you'll see that it will often, that one is kind of like a stamp and it has a texture on it. And I'll show you a couple more that I have that are super textured like that. This is another one that's I don't think this is actually like their brand. Like it's not a 66170 brand, but it is one that they carry like all the time. And again, this one is very textured. It has like some embroidery on the tag. And the tag is just like a unique, very heavily decorated tag.
So minus, I am not an Anthro expert at all, if you guys have not learned from this. Minus Maeve, which I know is Anthro, that is the only other times that I found it, is I'm like, this tag is crazy. This style is cute. Let me look it up. Boom, it's 6617.
You'll see, this one is definitely a be on the lookout for Cantoneri. You can see it.
Is that, so I have found that. Is that Anthro exclusive?
This is an Anthro, like this is their brand that they carry, they manufacture, but it has this other name on it. I mean, a lot of what they're trying to do is they're trying to come across as this is a boutique, right? And what they're doing is they're mixing their own stuff like this that they've manufactured themselves with their company. And they're mixing like some other high-end items like the Rachel Taylor or Anna Sui or Shoshana. They're mixing some of those other ones with their own stuff and giving off.
Make it look like a brick and mortar boutique.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. And I think to a certain extent, like, it is difficult for us to, figure out which ones are which. But I think that's what you should be looking for is let's try to learn about what are the styles and materials and that kind of stuff. And that's going to be consistent all the time. And like I said, like, look at how big this tag is right here. This is almost 2 inches across, and not all of their Cantoneri stuff will be this big of a tag, but they'll often have, like, you'll see metal kind of attached on the tag. And
I'm going to point that out for high-end brands in general. Their tag, like a Target, and nothing wrong with Target. I love Target.
Nothing, but they're like that.
Yeah, you can tell that just by the fabric of the tag and the detailing in the tag. They're not spending time on making their tags look nice for higher end brands. If you don't know it and you see a tag that looks nice, embroidered, or like, that has texture to it, something makes it stand out a bit. Yeah, look it up. It may not be Anthro, but it is likely
it's gonna be end. Exactly. And I think that if you learn anything from them, it's not we all want to sell like really high end, specifically Anthro stuff. But I think, like, more than that, use them as a tool to learn about some higher end styles, higher end brands in general. And I think that if you use some of those like context clues from what they are always doing, and like I said, if you go to their store and like take a look at a bunch of their tags, not to memorize the names, because none of us are going to be able to do that. Nor should you like waste your time memorizing names, because you have a phone in your pocket where you can look it up. But what you can do to like really cut down on your time is know these like key things about what to look for like on tags in general. And if you grab those items and then, when you have time, look them up before you check out or whatever, and you'll find out that a lot of the time they are those higher end brands. So this one is this is called Leif's Daughter. This is definitely one I'd be on the lookout.
Can you hold it a little closer? Oh, to the right, yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, okay. Is definitely like a super high-end brand that Anthro carries, but like again, they have like this silky part of the tag that kind of hangs off, which is really unusual. Like you would never, like you said with Target or J. Crew or
Loft or or
any of those places, they're not going to have that kind of detail.
Now, is Urban Outfitters do I'm trying to think of like the Urban Outfitters labels. Do they do the same thing, or theirs would be a little lower end?
Yeah, definitely their labels are going to be a lot more plain. And actually, so I worked at Anthropology for a year, but I also worked at Urban Outfitters for a while too, because if you work at under the same, like the whole company, you can transfer to other stores.
And you're like a longer employee. Yeah.
So I actually worked at Urban Outfitters as well. And yeah, their tags are going to be much more simple, plain. A lot of the time.
So that's helpful too. If you see the 6610 and it's like a really elaborate tag, then it's more likely Anthro. Free People is usually like that. Well, let's talk Free People labels. So that, because you see that like metal one, isn't that an older one? Like, what does their new label look like?
That's a good question.
Or is that their new?
I mean, I don't know, but they all just say Free People on it. Like, what I mean?
Or like an FP. Every once in a while I've seen an FP.
Yeah. Some of the FP stuff is like the fitness stuff or the intimates or not as it's like not part of, I mean, it is part of their clothes, but it's part of like one of the like offshoots of their clothes, not necessarily.
Yeah, I think it was like a basic tee, like just like a basic. Yeah.
And here's another one I'll show you. This is
that's like the size of the shirt.
But it's so funny because once you start thinking about that and looking for it, like when you're especially if you're going through racks, because I go through racks like super, super quick. I'm just like and I know basically exactly what I'm looking for really for tags. This is a few years old. This was an older sweater that I had. This is like from my personal closet. But again, I mean, this is huge. It's like the size of my hand. And this is from Anthro.
So let's talk about what, if you saw like an Anthro piece, what would you pass on? Would you pass on any Anthro items? And like, what would you pass on?
Okay, so I pass on like Rick Rack, which is like one of their like lower end. It's their own brand that they manufacture. It usually has like a red squiggle of material with it, like a textured material. Because even in the stores, the Rick Rack stuff isn't super expensive. Like it usually is between like $30 and $60. So I think to resell it, you're probably not going to get a lot. So I would pass on Rick Rack. I would pass on anything like the stain. Like you said, you had something that was stained. I definitely would pass on something that was stained, of course. I would, what other, like, is there any specific brands that I would pass on from them?
Yeah, well, like brands or like, do you buy tops? Are tops, because tops in general sell lower, but an Anthro top is worth it, or?
It depends on my mood, honestly.
And how many other things you found at the bins?
How many other things I found. I mean, it depends on so many factors. For me personally, I would say if you find a top that's new with tags, or if you find a top that is an Anthro top that is a really current style, or like whatever color that's really popular right now, or whatever cut that's popular, I would say yes for the tops if it's one of their like higher end tops. And if it's one of their like more basic tops, then I would say no. Like Odeli, I would say yes. Odeli, it's Odille or something like that. That's kind of an older popular one. What are some of the other older popular tops?
Well, so let's talk. So I'm going to take this back because everybody has a different strategy and a different number.
Right.
And I know this is going to be really hard for you to answer because it's going to have so many different factors. But in general, an Anthropology top is going to go for between,
I'm going to say between $20 and $30. And then
that's pretty.
A higher end one, like they're I'm running through all the numbers that I've been looking at recently.
But 20 to 30, I mean, for a top, like most tops are like 10 to 15, like of other brands. Yeah.
I definitely think that as far as selling on Poshmark, you're not really going to go terribly wrong selling the Anthros. Like you're gonna make money on it.
Especially if you're a brand. Yeah. So if you're a brand,
buying it from the bins or buying it from like you're getting buying it on sale at whatever thrift store you go to, or getting a good deal at a yard sale or something like that. For tops, I think you're still going to sell it. I would say like if I'm really looking hard to, like if I'm going to an Anthro store and I'm going to go to their sales room to try to find something like arbitrage of their sales.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would say I would look more for the purses, shoes. Anthro doesn't have a lot of stores where they sell shoes in their store. Like there's really only a handful of stores that sell shoes in the store.
Does ours have shoes? I haven't been to them.
But okay, so this is the thing though. People will return the shoes that they buy online to the store. Mm-hmm. So when you go to an Anthro store, in a brick and mortar store, they all have a sales room. Make sure you hit up the sales room and look under, like on the bottom, you will see there will usually be a few boxes of shoes that have been returned to the store. And they've been marked down because they've been there for a while or something like that. So
people aren't going to look for shoes because that store doesn't normally have shoes.
So they're not going to look for them. They often just don't see them because you really have to like look under because they have, honestly, Anthropologie, their stuff really gets crushed into the sales room and you have to hunt in there. But if you look on the bottom, you'll probably find a pair from somewhere between $20 to $60 in their sales room. And if you are one of their like Anthro members, they have like a free like customer loyalty program where you can get coupons and stuff like that. So sometimes you can maybe double down on a sales and the coupons that you get like for your birthday or a sale that they're having.
You do a lot of online arbitrage? Or I guess it's not online. Well, right now it probably is. But
I don't personally because I shop a lot at the bins and I shop a lot at like thrift stores to find my merchandise. But honestly, the more I've been thinking about it about talking to you and thinking about how their process works, I think that I would consider doing that, especially once it opens and I can go in person and kind of take a look at.
I think you could probably do really well at it because you know your stuff, you know what sells, you know what people want with Anthro. I would probably, I bought it at the thrift store and I still can't move what I bought. So I would not spend up on it because I don't know. I know, and I don't know if she's in the chat anymore. I'm not going to try and say her name because I'm not going to say it, but she sells a lot of, she does online arbitrage and store arbitrage for Anthropologie, all new with tags. And she makes, she spends, she's spending more, but her stuff sells. You're
going to get a lot for it. And like another product that they have that's really good for that is jewelry, which it's going to be impossible for you to know a piece of Anthro jewelry that you see out in the world if it's not like a new with a tag. Like I have a necklace here that's
or style. You probably could pick out the style.
I probably could know, but I might have a good idea of this maybe came from Anthro, but especially with their jewelry, they get copied so quickly, like for stuff like that. True. Like I'll show you this piece. This is like a necklace that I've had from them for a couple years now. There's absolutely nothing.
Oh, there's no way you could.
There's nothing on it at all that says Anthro. That there's no numbers, there's no IDs, there's no tags. How would you know? And the thing is like, yeah, this is a style that's easily replicated by another.
Yeah, that reminds me of like a lot of the jewelry that they have at like Francesca's. Because I love their jewelry.
Yeah.
Okay, we are wrapping up the hour. I feel like. Oh yeah, I feel like we could probably chat forever. Oh, go ahead. Go.
The jewelry really sells well on Poshmark. If you are going to their store and you see a really good sale and you see that they have some jewelry, I would say that would be something that I would try to pick up to resell. And I mean, personally,
and then it's Anthro because you got it.
It's Anthro because it's
Randy is asking, and this is a while ago. I'm scrolling back. I'm trying to be a better moderator, and I get so enthralled. So she's asking, why do white backgrounds do better in searches? They just pop more. Some of it is popping, but most of it is just the way that Google pulls. If it sees a bunch of stuff, it doesn't know what it's looking for. If it just sees that one item, it will pull it in the search better, and then it'll rank you higher. It's the same with eBay. It doesn't work the same with Poshmark because Poshmark says they don't have an algorithm, but you get ranked on Poshmark mostly from sharing, so it doesn't matter as much there. But you can also get found on Poshmark from Google. So I always do a clean white background, none of the extra stuff. Let me see. This is my husband. So we just moved in and we're buying all kinds of like furniture, not all kinds, like a dresser. But he was upstairs putting it together. So it's all done. Yay. It's my dresser. So I'm excited for that. It's like, we didn't get it from IKEA, but it's pretty much like IKEA. So let's see. Flipping Gals is saying they typically look more professional and they generate higher click-through rates. Yes, that's another reason. Sarah, at what prices have you listed your Anthropology tops? Oh, I'll talk to him separate. But I don't have tops. I only have dresses. I don't sell tops in general. That's all of our questions. So, you sell tops. I'm going to make you give me a number. Dresses on Anthropology price range, like 40 to 60, like in general?
Yeah, I would say definitely 40 to 60 is a solid price range. Even for like some of the older ones, like I had a really old Maeve dress that I sold for like over $30. It was a long time ago. I think it was maybe like 45 even, but like some of the sales that I've seen like recently and that on Poshmark, I mean, if you can get like a newer style from Anthro, they're selling for like quite a bit for the dresses. Even more than $60, I would say, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing on there.
Yeah. Well, maybe I just need to do more research because I can't move Anthro to save my life. Maybe
change the photos. Because the one that you showed, it didn't have a white background. It was like on a person.
Yes, so that one is, and I will agree with you on that one. The reason that is that way is there was a posher who was moving and she sold all of her inventory.
Yeah.
And I bought it because she let me use her photos, so I didn't have to spend the time taking photos, and so I used all her photos.
Yeah.
But my other ones have white backgrounds, and I modeled them. One I couldn't model because it was too small, so I used the mannequin. But the rest of them have white backgrounds. All right, I think we are good. Any last pieces of advice?
Last pieces of advice. Now I'm looking at my items that I had to show you. My last pieces of advice are try to look for new with tag stuff. Obviously, we're always trying to do that, but that's what I pay up for new with tags from Anthro personally. Go on their website, go to their store if you can. Filter through their stuff. Filters are your friends on Poshmark and on other people's websites, like other companies' websites like Nordstrom's or Anthro. And I feel like Anthropology is really a leader in like fashion in general, even though maybe we don't always know that. But a lot of what they are selling, a year down the line, I see other people copying it. So I think just really looking at their website and their catalog, their Instagram, going to their store can help you be more familiar with like what the current trends and fashions are. And yeah, it is hard to find a lot of specific brands because they have so many. But if you look for the key things that we mentioned, like look for really large decorative tags with texture, with other materials on it. Look for good quality items. Like for the purses and the shoes, they're going to be leather, they're going to be canvas, they're going to be like a stacked wood. They're going to be really nice materials. They're not going to be names that you always know, but grab them and Google them. And, you know, if it is something that was under Anthro, you have a really good chance, I think, of reselling it on Poshmark eventually. Maybe not.
And I think that's I think that's a good tip in general is, and most resellers will tell you, resellers who shop thrift stores, is you can't learn all the brands, but you can learn what styles are good and what is quality. And you can learn like certain brands. I mean, we were talking before we started, I can usually see an Athleta or Lululemon piece and know that that's what it is before, mostly Athleta because I love wearing it. So I'm like, ooh, that's cute. Yep, that's Athleta.
Touching it, or even just like the stitching now, you know, I'll know that it's Lululemon just from the stitching.
And the feel, you can definitely tell the feel. One last question, and then I am going to wrap it up because we're at an hour. But is We the Free a diffusion brand?
Of Free People, yes, of Free People, yes.
Okay. Does it have the 6610? Can you put it under?
It have the 66170 on it.
So you could list it under Free People. Like if you bought it, you would do the drop down of Free People.
Yes, I would definitely. Yes, I think you definitely should, and I would.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I was checking on the chat. Okay. I think we are good here. Thank you so much for joining. I am going to give the chat a few minutes while I do my end speech, but definitely smash the like. It comes out. That's what people on YouTube say is smash, and I just don't like it. It doesn't flow off my tongue well. Hit the like button on your way out if you like this content. If there's things that you would like to see, I usually do 1 or 2 lives a week. I love having people on. You know, just because you don't have 10,000 followers and a huge YouTube channel doesn't mean that you don't have tons of information to share. Eden is a perfect example of that. So much knowledge to share with the community. So if you have something that you think people would like to talk about or hear about, send me a DM. If there's things that you would like to talk about, there's subjects that you want me to have people on for, drop notes down below and I will find people to come on my channel and talk about them. If you like content like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications. Every Monday I am doing a live accountability talk, and so you come on. It's open to anybody who wants to join. It's the first 3 to 4 people who send me a DM. They will get the link to join the video chat. And then anyone, of course, is welcome in the comments as well. We talk about our successes for the week and then what we're going to be doing for the following week. Lots of really good conversations come up during this as well, because we're talking about reselling things. And last time I learned a lot of, oh, my headphones fell out. Hold on. I'm back. We learned a lot from the last one, so that's definitely open to everybody. That is every Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard, and then every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard. I am doing my mentorship with Chris from A Daily Refinement. He is mentoring me. I am not mentoring him, but lots of great conversations coming out of that. We are doing a year-long mentorship to get me to make $1,000 net reselling in a week, in 20 hours a week or less. So lots of really good information is coming on that. So make sure to subscribe, hit that notifications, give a thumbs up on your way out, leave comments if you're watching this in the recording if you haven't. And thank you so much, Eden, for coming on and sharing all of your knowledge.
Thanks
Duncan says I'm mentoring Chris. I don't think that's true. Chris has way more knowledge than I do. Okay, so yep, that's it. Have a good night, and I hope everyone is staying safe and sane in whatever capacity is right for their families right now. Have a good night.